Hey folks, it's Finn. The 20th of November every year is Transgender Day of Remembrance. And Transgender Day of Remembrance is a day where we remember trans people that have been lost in our community due to being murdered or taking their own life as a direct result of being transgender. Now, I also think that Transgender Day of Remembrance needs to include people who have died, not necessarily as a direct result as being trans, but who in dying have their identity as a transgender person wiped out. And the reason I'm talking about this is because, as you know, at the beginning of the year, I lost my best friend Blake. He died and we didn't know why. It was very much out of the blue. It's taken almost a year and we finally have the results back from the inquest, and it was suicide. Blake took his own life. Now, Blake didn't take his own life as a direct result of anything to do with his being trans. There were other issues going on. But the reason I feel strongly about this is because in his death, because his family were not very accepting about his being transgender, unfortunately, we've all been shut out of the funeral and about anything to do with his death. The trans community are being blamed. His being trans is being blamed. We didn't even find out the results of his inquest from the family. We found out online, which was incredibly distressing, as you can imagine. Whilst I understand, I really do understand that they're hurting. I understand that they want to blame someone and they're lashing out. But what I don't understand is not honouring Blake as the man he was. Being shut out of a funeral was just heartbreaking. A funeral is a place where you mourn someone, but it's also a place where you honour someone. And when you're in a funeral and there are so many people there all mourning and grieving the loss of someone, it really sends a message of the depth of love and loss that is felt. And that's such an honour to someone's life, isn't it? When you see that many people remembering and sharing stories about someone, and that really does send a message of honour of a person's memory. Blake was never given that opportunity. We never got to go there and share stories about how wonderful he is, how strong he is, how much he was loved, how much he still is loved. And that just breaks my heart. I've been really quiet about this. I didn't want to risk hurting the family, and I know that in making this video I risk upsetting people. But Blake was my best friend, and I wouldn't be a best friend if I didn't do him the honour of remembering him as the man he is. You know, it breaks my heart that his birth name was used. I still don't know if he's being remembered, buried, cremated or whatever with his correct name. I have no idea because we're being shut out. And so, as his best friend, I owe it to him to make sure that at least I and our community remember him correctly. So I trump my best friend's needs and wishes above his family's, and I'm making no apology for that. If, God forbid, this happened to me, I would want someone to stand up for me. So I am standing up for Blake. Blake was a man. He absolutely knew who he was. He was in no doubt whatsoever. He was not influenced by anybody. And I will remember him as that amazing man that I knew. I think this is such an important thing to think about on Transgender Day of Remembrance. I think this is something that we're often overlooking because this does happen a lot, more than it should. It's made me be very concerned now that I need to go and get myself my birth certificate changed, that this cannot happen to me, and to write some kind of clause in my will that no one is to do this to me. You know, it's awful. It really, really is. So today, on Transgender Day of Remembrance, let's remember all of those who, in dying, have had their true identities taken from them, and let's remember them too. I ask, please, that in the comment section, I know this is going to make a lot of people cross, but I haven't made this video to get back at the family or anything like that. I don't want this video comment section to turn into a slanging match about how awful this is. I know it's awful, but I made this because I want to honour and remember my best friend. And so I ask in the comment section if you please refrain from any negative talk. Let's just remember him with love and honour as the man that he was, as a man with so much love and compassion for others, as a man who, having disqualified as a nurse, was going to be an amazing one and a really amazing advocate for the trans community. And we've lost a really amazing bloke. Blake, I see you. We all see you. We know who you are. We love you.